Hello everyone and welcome to the Waffle Flower channel. I've got the two stamp sets out there that I'm going to use today. I'm going to start with this one on the right. It's Sketchy Numbers. I'm showing you my 3 cardstock bases. They're all black cardstock because today I'm going to make 3 New Year's cards, and on all of them I am going to be coloring with my Prismacolor pencils. I really like to color on dark cardstock with my Prismacolors. They just really seem to pop. And you guys will see it here today with these cards. Okay, this first card I'm making is kind of like a countdown. So I am putting the numbers out from 10 to 1. And I will have all of them up to 2 here because I used the 1 and the 10. And so this is a really fast card because basically I want to stamp the whole card in one go here with my Misty, which makes it really easy. If you have a big acrylic block, you could do the same thing, but I don't. So I'm going to use my Misty just like I would a big acrylic block. Alright, I picked them all up. Now I'm going to ink them up with some embossing ink because I will eventually emboss these with gold. Before I stamp them down, I'm going to put down some powder, anti-static powder, just so I can keep the gold embossing powder where I want it on those numbers. Press them down here, and then I will actually stamp this one more time, ink it up and stamp it one more time just to make sure I get good coverage of that embossing ink. I don't want any blotchy embossing. Okay, so I've got my numbers stamped. Now I'm going to do the embossing powder. So right there, I'm just using Recollections Gold. Yep, that's something you can find at Michael's. Works well for me. If you go and get it, just make sure you have your 40% off coupon. And I'm just shaking off the excess. And actually clean up a little bit more here with the brush just because I'm doing this on black cardstock and any excess powder really shows on black cardstock. Okay, so I've heat set it already, and now I'm doing that one I couldn't do before because it was part of the 10. Now I'm just going to do that one as well. Pick it up with my Misty, and I'm going to ink it up like I did before with the embossing ink, and then I'll stamp it. And I will actually stamp it twice. There we go. And then I will gold emboss that as well. And heat set that. So once I'm done heat setting that, I'm going to move on to my sentiment. So to the right there I have some dies from the Holiday Words dies set. They're like sentiment strips, but they actually have your words cut out of them, so they're really cool, really super useful for making fast cards. So I've got them mounted on like kind of a mustard cardstock that way because I'm actually going to emboss these sentiments in gold too, and that will just make sure that if I didn't quite get embossing powder everywhere, it won't be so noticeable as if I were to use white or black cardstock. So I'm using mustard. So I just die cut those, and now I've got my sentiments strips ready to go. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to emboss these in gold just so they match the gold on the card. So I've got my embossing ink pad here, and I'm just pressing in the strip, the sentiment strip, into it. I'm not doing all of the strip. I'm leaving a little bit uninked so I can hold on to it. And then after I've got it all inked up, I pour on the gold embossing powder, and it sticks really nicely. So there, I've got my two portions of my sentiment strip with the embossing powder. Now I'll heat set them. So now they're heat set. Just show you real quick what they look like. You can see that little part that I didn't emboss, so I could hold on to it. Now I'm going to do that little part. Just tap it again into the embossing ink, and then I just dipped it into the powder. And then once I do this last one, I'll heat set these as well, and then they'll be done. So now my sentiment strips are heat set, so they're all nice and shiny gold. So now I will adhere these to my card base. And I'm just using some multimedia matte just in case any of it kind of oozes out from behind the sentiment. The matte adhesive won't be as noticeable as like a as glossy accents would be. So that's why I'm using the multimedia mat. And then I'll do this other one, and then the center will be done, and then I'll move on to my coloring with my colored pencils. So today I'm actually using a specific kind of coloring pencil. I'm using Prismacolor. I find that they work, they're waxier, they're softer, and I like working with them. I can apply the color, I feel like, a lot faster. I've got 7 colors here, and they're kind of in the jewel tone, like a jewel toned rainbow. And I'm just arranged them in rainbow order, and I'm just going to color these numbers in that order, in that rainbow order. But you can really do any order. I just thought that was easier for me to keep straight which ones I've done and haven't done. I'm coloring this 10 here in my first color, which is kind of a blue, medium blue. And I'll list all my colors in the, if you want the actual numbers or the actual names, in the description. And I'm just speeding it up here because I'm not doing anything fancy. All I'm doing is rotating the paper just so it's easier, and I kind of have this, my pencil strokes in the kind of going in the direction of the number instead of against it. They're going with it, and that's all I'm doing. It's really simple. I'm not trying to create a gradation or anything here. I've just got one color for one number, so it's really a good way to start working with colored pencils. These kind of cards where you color in the solid, because you don't have to worry about gradations or anything. It's just really simple coloring, really easy to do, but still really pretty, really effective on that black cardstock. They really pop. Okay, so now I'm on to color card number 2. This card I'm using the Cutaway Alpha to start with. I'm going to make a sentiment in the center of my card. I'm going to say Happy New Year's, or Happy New Year, I should say. And there's not a duplicate of letters, so I am going to do happy and new first, but leave the second P out of happy. I've popped that R out just so I can kind of get the positioning right for that last word that I'm having, the Happy New Year. So for that year, because I can't stamp year yet because too many letters are being used for the other part of the sentiment. Okay, so I've got it all lined up here, and I'm going to ink it up. And I forgot to do my anti-static powder here, but luckily it didn't stick everywhere, so sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. I don't know. Can't always remember. Okay, I'm doing it twice again, same reason before. I want it to have nice coverage with that embossing ink, so my powder is all smooth, as smooth as it can be. And I'm pouring, I'm going to do gold again, that Recollections gold. Tap off the excess, and then I'll heat set that as well. Okay, so now I'm done heat embossing it, or now I'm going to do the rest of my sentiment. I'm going to put that P in, the happy, and then do year with an exclamation point at the bottom. And I just saved you from viewing me positioning that, but it was very simple. This Cutaway Alphas, I've had some other alphabet sets before, and this one's really easy to kind of get it positioned where the spaces are right and everything looks really straight. I don't know. It's a really easy alphabet set to work with. I've been really happy with it. In fact, I've used it quite a lot because it's just been so easy, and I really like the font. It's really pretty, really modern, but works for lots of different kind of cards. Okay, so I just embossed that, did the embossing ink, and now I poured on the gold, and I will heat that as well. So my sentiment is done. So now my sentiment is all done, and now I've got the sketchy numbers again, and I'm just pulling out all the numbers except for the 0, and I'm positioning around the edges of my card. And again, this card is also a single layer card, just like the first one. So these are great cards for mailing. You're going to have no issues. You won't have to add additional stamps. Woohoo! Okay, so here I'm inking them up, and I will do it twice, just like I've done before. Oh no, I did it once. And then I'm doing the gold and powder. And I'll heat set that as well. So now I'm just finishing up the other part of this card, the other half, with my numbers. And same thing. Embossing ink. And stamp them down. And I don't know if did mention before, but these are actually 5x7 cards. So these are big cards. I like to make big cards. So you could definitely do this with a smaller card, but you would probably have to shorten the sentiment or leave out the numbers. Okay, so that's done. I went and heat set that other card, but I forgot to show it to you. So I'm actually moving on to the second card, or my third card here, and I will color my second and third together. You'll see me do that towards the end, once I'm done doing all my embossing on this third card. So this third card is going to say Hello 2017. I've got the Cutaway Alpha to do the hello, and the sketching numbers to do the year. But again, I had to only do part of the hello because I'll have to do the L twice. But this card is actually going to be horizontal or orientation, which is kind of nice. This one's the simplest, but I think this one is actually my favorite. I always seem to overcomplicate things, and then I always like the simpler cards more. I don't know why. It's like I can't do anything easy. I have to make it hard. Alright, so I heat set that. Now I'm just going to do the L. Now this time I'm just going to do the L on my acrylic block. I'm not going to bother to do it on my Misty. It's, like I said, this Cutaway Alpha is really easy to line up, so I'm just going to eyeball it here and be done with it. And then pour my gold embossing powder. Sorry guys, I know this is a lot of embossing, but I just wanted to show you all the cards in their entirety, just in case, so there's no questions how I did anything. And I'll heat set that last out. Okay, so now there's both my cards all heat set with the gold embossing, and honestly they look really beautiful just in the gold, but I'm going to take it just one step further with the colored pencils again. So I've got my Prismacolor pencil here, and this time I'm just pulling from my rainbow. I'm not doing it in a rainbow order. I'm only going to color the numbers, and there's only 4 in this first card, so I'm just picking some of my favorites out of the 7 and coloring in the 2017. And that card is done. So I'm going to speed up when I move to my other card here. I'm going to speed it up because it's basically the same thing. Speed it up real fast for you. And here again, I've got my 7 colors. I'm going to use all 7 this time, but I'm not doing them in rainbow order either. Just kind of picking and choosing. I'm trying to spread them out. I don't want to do 2 colors right next to each other. And again, this is really simple coloring. I'm not doing any gradation. I'm just coloring inside the numbers with my Prismacolor pencils. That's it. I have done this before with clear embossing, and I had more troubles with clear embossing. I would kind of mar the clear embossing lines when I did this with colored pencils. I did find a way to kind of fix it, and I'll show that in another video if you guys are curious about clear embossing on black cardstock and using your colored pencils. But with the gold, I had no problems. My gold didn't flake off. I didn't mar the surface, so the gold worked really well. So those are all 3 of my cards. If you want any more product info, please visit waffleflower.com or follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more creative ideas. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.